Hello guys, welcome back. In today's tutorial, we are going to see the switch case in C. This switch case is used for executing a set of statements depending on the value of a variable. Let me write the syntax first and then I'll explain you how the switch case works. And finally, we'll see an example on the switch case. So for writing a switch case, we have to use the keyword switch. Then we have to open a bracket and inside this bracket, we have to pass a value. And then we have to close the bracket. After this, we'll open a brace and inside this brace, we'll use the keyword case. After this case, we have to specify some value. Let us say value 1. Then we have to write a colon. After this, we have to write a set of statements. These set of statements will be executed if this value will be equal to this value. And after executing this, we have to write break. Again, we can write a second case in the same way. We can add as many number of cases as we want inside this switch statement. So I can write this as case value n. N number of cases we can add in this. So once our set of cases are finished, we have to write default here. And under this default, we have to write some set of statements. And finally, we have to close the switch case. So this is how our entire switch case looks like. It is looking big, but it is very simple to understand. So let us see how this works. When we pass a value here, then inside this switch case, each case label will be checked. This is known as a case label. If this value will be equal to this value, then these set of statements will be executed. And after this, the break will be executed. Break here is important because if we don't use break here, then immediately it will go to the second case. And if the break is not present here, it will come to this case. So this is why writing break is important. So as soon as a case is executed, then it will break and it will come out of this switch case. Like in loops, as we have seen, using break statement, we come out of the loop. In the similar way, using the break statement here, will come out of this switch case. Now let us see why this default is used here. Default here is used if the value doesn't match with any of the case labels here. Then default statement will be executed. If default statement is executed, then we have to write a set of statements here that needs to be executed if none of the value matches. We will better understand this with an example. One thing that is important to remember here is the value here can be a single character or an integer variable. Okay, so anything is valid. So let us understand this switch case with an example. For our example, let us declare a variable int I. Let us assign some value 1. Fine. Now let us write our switch. Now I'll pass the variable I here, I. And after this, I will write case 1. So whenever the value of I is 1, this case will be executed. I'll write printf, the value is 1. Then break. Then I'll write case 2, printf, the value is 2. Break. Then I'll write a default statement here. Print nor 1 nor 2. It should actually be neither 1 nor 2. Let us ignore the grammatical mistake for time being. Now I will close the switch statement. Now see what happens here is the value of I here is 1. So switch 1. So it will search for this label 1 in this switch statement. If this case label matches with this one, so this one will be executed. And after encountering break here, the switch statement will be closed. Okay. So if the case label doesn't matches with any of the case labels, then default here will be executed. So now let us see if the value is 1, which case will be executed. Let's compile and run. Compile and run. The value is 1. Because the value of I is 1, therefore it matches with this case label. Since it matches with this case label, this statement will be executed. Once this statement executes, it will encounter break here. Once break is encountered, the switch statement will be exited. Now let us assign the value 2 here. And let us see. The value is 2. Since the value here is 2, it matches with the case label 2. Therefore, the statement present inside this case label will be executed, and after encountering break, the switch statement will be exited. Now let us assign some value to it, which does not matches with any of the case labels. Now let us see whether the default statement is getting printed or not. Yes, the value is nor 1 nor 2. This one is getting executed because the value here not matching with any of the case labels. Therefore, the default statement will be executed. If we do not include this default statement, then none of them will be executed. That means it will neither execute this one nor this one. It will simply come out of this break statement. Let us compile and run. So as you can see, nothing has been printed. Writing default statement is useful so that in case none of the statement matches, then a default statement can be executed. Now this was an example for an integer type of variable. For better understanding this switch case, let me replace this integer variable with a character variable. Let me write char and assign some character to it. Say A. Now switch I. Now here, as this is an integer, we have to remove it because now I need to write a character here. Case A. A character should always be written inside single quotes. Okay, so let me change the value here. The value is A. Now this one, let us change it to B. Fine. Similarly, here also I replace it with B. Now let me write the default statement. Here I'll write now let us see what will be the output of this. Since here the character is A, this case should be executed. Then we should see the value is A on the screen. Compile and run. The value is A. Similarly, if I write here B, then this case should be executed. Fine. Now let us change it to some other value. Now let's see what is being displayed onto the screen. The value is neither 1 not 2. Okay. So let us replace this 1 with A and 2 with B. Now let us see. Fine. The value is neither A nor B. So this is how a switch case works. I hope you have understood the concept of switch in C. In our upcoming video, we shall be seeing how to take input from a user at runtime. That is how to use scanf statement in C. Thank you for watching.